Hello everyone, that's Rebby here, and today is the first of hopefully many very interesting videos. This is a book called Mythomorphia by Crayons. It's part of an extreme coloring challenge. It's amazing, like, just look at that art. It's so good. It's extremely detailed though, which is why it's extreme. And I thought, well, I did a one page with markers, but unfortunately they're printed on both pages and it bleeds through, which is really sad. And I got this idea to start in the new year with some supplies. And you see this bag right here? It's full of crayons. And that's because at the local reuse center, it's called Renovator Reuse in Gainesville. It's a really cool place. $2. You can fill up your entire bag with just junk, basically. And it's a bunch of used crayons and a deck of cards, which I'm going to use for another project down the line, but not in here. I just wanted to show those to you. But yeah, all of this is just random crayons that I just grabbed and threw into a bag and thought, you know what? I could use that. Because let's face it, we use a lot of stuff and we buy brand new things as artists, and I get kind of tired of like how much money I spend and how many things are piled and how much of waste it is when I could just finish, something that was already started in the first place. It's so much cheaper. But anyways, I'm just going through this book a little bit just to show you some of these really cool drawings. There are a few other books. There's like a whole series of like 5 books that you can get into a set, and I'm really considering just getting the entire set just so I can do it a few times. See, that's where the bleed through came from the other one. You'll see it on the other side. It's a very awesome Pegasus. And I decided I was going to use the Green Man for this one, and I'm just using all of those crayons and like nothing else. I'm making sure that I am not using any new material in this challenge. And I hope it really inspires you guys and gives you some ideas on what to do. And right here I'm just using an X-Acto knife and just cutting out that page, because the one negative thing about a lot of books like these, the bound books, is that you can't really get into like the little crevices, and it just kind of like bends. You have to like bend it and break it basically. So anyways, any apologies ahead of time if some of this drawing is a little off, like not drawing, the display is a little off and cut off. This is the first time of me using this brand new thing I got for Christmas. It's like a little arm to put my camera on so that I can do overhead art. I've been wanting to do some, time lapses for the longest time, but it's just a struggle to find the right angle. So I just finally just bit the bullet and said, I'm just going to do this. Anyways, I'm just showing you an example of some of the crayons that are in the bag. This first part was me kind of just grabbing a few randomly. And then later on, you'll see I cut to, I just went and just dumped the entire bag into another room and then just searched and found every green, yellow, and like bluish green color. And just sorted them all out and put them in like a pile so that I had just those colors, because I basically just wanted to do green and browns for this, because it's a green man. It's like a mythological like deity in a lot of cultures, and I thought it would also be like cool to challenge myself with a limited color palette as well. When I give myself too many choices, it kind of stresses me out, not gonna lie, and then I get stuck and I just stop. Anyways, you saw that I was cut to. I did a lot of blues in there as well, and then after a while I decided I'm not really feeling the bluish tones. It's not as earthy, and you'll see later on when I just kind of said F it, and I just got rid of all of the blue toned ones as time went on. But yeah, you also notice that it's going a little bit faster because I decided to do 2 times speed because this video was actually 2 hours long. And it took forever for me to convert all of this footage. And then I'd had to like compress it, and some of it got flipped for whatever reason. And in this one, you'll see this is a metallic crayon. There was a couple of metallic crayons actually in that set. And that's like a bronze color, and I just decided I was going to fill in with those crayons. It's just like, use that color for the eyes, just to start off with. And I'm just showing you the names of them as they go. Some of these are like Crayolas, like official like brand Crayolas, but some of them are like, I saw some from like Staples, like, and some don't like have any brand name on them at all. They're all torn up, so I don't really know what all these colors are. I tried my best to figure that out. You know, some of them have like the name still on them, but some didn't, and I tried to like point those out in case they're still kind of like in circulation and you're curious about where the colors came from. Yeah, but I also had a couple of I started off with just a couple of browns. This one was kind of more of an orange. I think it was called mahogany. And then I did like just, the other one was just brown. It's just called brown. Kind of helps. But I just started in kind of thinking of it as like a base color, if you will. Or it's either a base or a highlight. Usually I do like a base color, kind of the mid-tone color. Lay that down in areas where I think it's gonna like be pertinent. And then I'll go in with like highlight. Well, and with some materials I'd use highlight. With something like this, I probably would go do the highlight first, the lighter color first, because of the way the media of crayons, the wax kind of like lays down. But like, there's also a few crayons in here that were really nice, and some that kind of were very like almost like sticky and crumbled a lot. So there was some consistency issues, and some of them were in the same brand. They were like Crayola crayons. Maybe it was just a different year, and they were very like old, you know, or they were exposed to some kind of element before I got to them. But some of them were like pretty difficult to use, and then other ones were just like laying down like really easy. And I also want to preface this as I'm drawing, or coloring, I should say, that I know that I'm not very like, I haven't really touched a crayon in a long time, admittedly. And when I started doing this, I was like, I don't know, it's been so long, I'm gonna look so terrible, and I almost psyched myself out. I was like, I don't know if I should do this because I'm not an expert at crayons. And I was like, thinking to myself after a second, I'm like, well, that's a really ridiculous thing to say out loud. Like, oh, I'm not an expert at crayon coloring? Like, really? Because when you think you're coloring, it's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be relaxing, therapeutic even. And I've been noticing this shift in online spaces where we do something that is for an enjoyment, for a personal hobby, an enjoyment. And we make it a try-hard thing. Like, we make it a, well, I have to be the best. I have to, like, basically flex on everyone about how good I am. And, you know, you'll see people coloring, like, these really beautiful, like, artworks. They'll do, like, these fancy, like, glitter or kind of like a neon kind of thing. And the first thing they'll put down is, I know other people are better at this than me, but... And that just ruins it for me. That makes me feel so icky. Do you guys just get the ick with that? When people are just like, yeah, I know everybody else is better at me than this, or, yeah, I know this looks terrible, but, you know, I thought I would try it. Do you not hear yourself? You're not having fun? Or you're afraid to post this because you think somebody's going to judge you because you're not an expert at coloring? It's coloring. Like, literally. Like, I think adult coloring was, you know, there's a resurgence because we're all talking about trying to harken back to that youthful time. And when we think back on those times, we think of happy thoughts. We think of calm and joy and, this brightness. And now you're ruining it by talking about how bad you are at something. And that brings me to another point. And this is the thing I told myself, because I know a lot of people are very against like New Year's resolutions. And I don't think of myself as a resolution person per se, but I do like to think about what I'm going to achieve in the next year. So this first video is the first art video that I've like made and published. This was over the course of a couple days doing this artwork because I had so many problems like storing and saving information and like transferring all of this artwork, and things just happened in between that. That this is the first video. Essentially, it just took a minute. So yeah, but I told myself, what do I want to do? What do I want to do with this channel? And my big goal, like I'm sure a lot of people who follow me right now, they follow me because of my other videos, which is my shorts on dog photography. I take pictures, I take photography of pets, mostly dogs and cats, at my job, which is at a pet boarding and daycare service. And I share those pictures online. I do the content creation and the social media for it. I take the pictures, and I love it. It's a good job. It's part-time, it kind of pays bills, Anything that you love usually doesn't, make a whole lot of money, unfortunately. You're very lucky if you can make a living off of the thing that you love. But I still really like it. It can be stressful sometimes, Other people's animals, and, it's human, not humans, it's living beings, pure innocent living beings, and you care for them. But, like, that's usually what people follow me for, is they see those pictures and they get a little dose of the dopamine, like, oh my god, dogs, I love cats, And I love doing that. But I also really love art. And I wanted to share some of that, in between this. I'm not saying like I'm changing this channel completely, obviously. I just want to be able to do both at the same time. And also, you'll notice sometimes when I'm drawing with this, I don't have like a pencil sharpener or anything like that, or a crayon sharpener, I guess. I don't know if there's a crayon sharpener different from a pencil sharpener, but you'll see that some of the areas are really like very precise, because I just got these used crayons. They're like half used. And here I show you. This is brown. This is just literally the Crayola color brown. But yeah, it's just the darker part that I'm going over on like areas that I think are kind of like shadowed, and deepening it a bit. So anyway, yeah, like I was gonna say, with this channel, I want to be able to kind of do both. I'll probably combine the two. I also do like a lot of zine making and events for that, which is still kind of in the art field, and I'm actually combining it by there's a zine that I will be selling at the next Zine Fest that I will be tabling, and it's called Dorgies, and it's literally just some of my favorite pictures of the dogs that I have taken, and that when I work with every day. And a lot of them are regulars that I see all the time, and I love them, and they're great animals. I want to be able to kind of combine the two things into this channel. And if you don't really want, those things, if you don't want really the art, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to watch these videos. I like it if you do. I appreciate it if you do, but you don't have to. I just want to have a really good area to kind of express a few different facets of my life and not just one, so I don't box myself in. Anyways, the areas where there's a lot of hatching, like hatching, cross-hatching, and where things are clustered together. There'll be sometimes you'll see two things almost like touching, or something on top of something, and there's a little bit like of light going through. I put a lot of that darker brown on it because it's almost like there's less light, right? So things would be darker, obviously. So that's where I would put those little bits of the darker brown. That's kind of how I think about it, is just little bits and shapes. So where like those roots of his face and the folds, kind of like wrinkles almost, I'm putting down all of this. And where it's like underneath some of these leaves that are going to be kind of like a shadow, I also put them there. That's just trying to explain like why I'm coloring the things, how I'm coloring them. Anyway, yeah, this drawing took a course of coloring took a course of a couple days, just because one, it's very detailed, and two, a lot of things happen, so I kind of had to stop a few times to do other things and live life in the meantime. But I did get it done, and I got all this footage converted and edited and sped up, so, you know, this is just me doing the final thing, the final bit, which is voiceover. But yeah, I still will be doing the pictures and the little silly videos of the dogs, so don't worry about that. If that's the only reason you're here, that's perfectly fine with me. I just don't want to be boxed in and like stuck in one place where, well, I have to do this and only this, because if, God forbid, for some reason I didn't have that job, or I couldn't see dogs or be with dogs or cats anymore, which would break my heart, and I didn't have the opportunity, then my channel would just, you know, go to dust. So I obviously want to have a few different avenues just in case. But I will be, I have a series, an idea that I'm going to do. And let me know if you guys think that this is an idea. But I was thinking, since I see new dogs every day, and also some regular ones too, that I've come to love, I was thinking to take some of these pictures. And the reason I threw these pictures down into like a YouTube is because when you delete them, you know, they can be gone forever. And then like, what do you do if you want to look back on them, you know? So it's kind of like archiving this little bit of history in my life as well. And you're just kind of like there to, you know, be a part of the journey. And if you like it, that's awesome. If you enjoy it as much as me. And part of that comes from this little story. And this might be a little sad, so apologies in advance. So in December, we had this dog who was this regular. He came into daycare every day. He's 3 years old, black lab. Loved to jump in the pool. We'd say, hey, get in the pool, boy. He'd jump in there. Whenever he was getting a little too excited, a little overstimulated, we'd go, get in the pool, boy. And he'd jump into the pool. And he was always very loving. He, you know, people call him the perfect dog, almost, because he didn't really get into trouble with the other dogs or, you know, get too, like, rowdy or do a bunch of mounting. You know, he wasn't a troublemaker. He was just chill, but he was also, like, very sweet and loving, and he got along with the other dogs just fine. You know, we had no issues with him. And then, one morning, so I was actually I parked in my car in the parking lot, and I was just gathering my things to go to work, like 10 minutes before work. Sat there, and sometimes I just sit there and process some things. So I'm sitting in my car before my shift, and at work we have like this app, and the app, it's just kind of like a chat, so that you can get like important information within, you know, without having to, like, you know, call everyone individually. It's just kind of like important for like messaging and stuff like that. And that morning, my boss does attention everyone announcement, you know, and she just says, sad news. Dog's name passed away this morning. And we were all shocked. He's 3 years old. He's fairly young. No health problems that we knew of. Just what happened? We don't know. Parents don't know. He just seemed like he wasn't doing that well. And he literally comes in to daycare every morning. We see him every single day. And the dad said, hey, he's not coming in. Doesn't seem like he's feeling well. He's not eating. So take him to the emergency vet. And he's passed away. And they're still trying to figure out what happened. And I cried. And I sucked up my tears. And then I went to work, started the shift, and everyone else was crying. You know, and it makes sense. We we saw him every day. He was a friend. He was almost family to us. And we got so used to him. And, you know, it's just, it sucks, you know? And by all accounts, everyone said he was almost the perfect dog. Didn't have any problems with him. He didn't fight with any other dogs or even cause a lot of trouble when he was playing. He liked to jump into the pool, you know? He'd bark a little bit. He loved meeting new people. So friendly, you know? He had energy, but he wasn't like overbearing. Yeah, he's a great dog. So yeah, that really hurt a lot. And I was just, the first thought, because you know I do content creation and videos and post for work. I said, hey guys, I was looking into my gallery and I have no more pictures of him, no video, because I deleted it because I needed space because I don't have a cloud. And I was like, wow, oh my god, I know I had pictures of him, but I don't have them anymore. This stinks. So I just said, hey guys, if you have any pictures or video, send it to me so I can make a little video for his family, you know. And they came through. Thankfully, some people had some videos of him, and I was able to make like a little in memoriam video for him. And I cried when I made it, and I showed it to the coworkers, and they started crying. And you know, it was kind of like a catharsis, I guess you could say. But it got me thinking, like, what? I don't want to think that that's gonna happen again, but I mean, the inevitability is there. Like, another dog passes away, we never see them again. What's gonna happen if I don't have that? You know, if I don't have the images in the video, I feel like I failed somehow because I'm supposed to be chronicling these things. So, reviving the channel was basically more about me than anyone else. To say, like, hey, this is like an archiving, this is memories, and putting it away somewhere. So I can always look back on it fondly. So even if I deleted stuff, it's never truly gone. And it just so happens that other people really enjoy the content. They really enjoy the pictures that I share. It makes me happy, and I'm really glad for that, you know? But at its core, the channel is for me. But I'm so thankful that, you know, I've had a little bit of a surge of following. Like, my boyfriend was convincing me to, you know, get back into content creation because I really wasn't doing anything with it for a couple of years, and I had like 2 followers or subscribers or whatever. I really did nothing with the channel. And then I was just posting random things and getting a couple of subscribers here and there, not much. Then I'm just showing you the names of the colors of the greens that I'm using here. It's forest green is one of them. And they're very nice colors, by the way. And I realized, oh, don't you just love like tearing off these pieces? It's satisfying, just getting it out of the paper and into the new color. That's what I was doing there. But I realized, like, yeah, I was getting these when I started putting the videos up, I was starting to get like some more subscribers from it, you know, which makes sense. People love animal content, right? It's happy. It's a little shot of dopamine to see all these very cute dogs, and sometimes cats. I don't get them as often because there's not that many that come to my work in comparison to dogs, but I do still love cats. But yeah, it's just kind of something to put down as a memory. But I'm really glad that other people enjoy the content that I have, and I can be a little silly with it because with my job making content, you know, sometimes I get like these, we have like a corporate center, and the corporate says, hey, here's the calendar, this is what you'll be posting, and then you can just post, you know, in the between days, whatever you like, as long as it fits the voice of the company, essentially. You know, that's how marketing is. My brand. But yeah, those give me ideas, kind of, essentially, to make more that's a little more creative and silly, and I put that into my own personal channel. I don't have a YouTube channel for my work, and I'm keeping it separate, you know, and I'm trying not to muddle the two. Obviously, I love sharing videos of the dogs, and I'm going to do like art related things. I have a zine called Dorgies that I'm making. I'm going to be doing like, and there's like an idea where I'm going to take pictures of the dogs, video and stuff like that, print a picture, and make it into like kind of like this art piece, and then make that eventually into like more zines and stuff like that, so that I'm still kind of feeding both the art content and the animal content. And that's what I'm trying to do with this channel, is having, it's mostly for me, but I'm glad you guys are here. And I'm just so amazed that like I went from 2 followers like last year, in the beginning of last year, to like I said, 50 at the end of the year would be great, like right before 2026. Yeah, and I got that, and now I'm almost at like 20 more than that. It's pretty crazy. It might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but to me it means a lot. So thank you guys so much. If you came from those videos, I really appreciate it. And this is also kind of chronicling my life, because who knows what's going to happen in, you know, another year from now. Yeah, but essentially I don't want to be a slave to what I think other people want. I just want to do what I want first and foremost, and hope that that just relates to other people and they want to see more. So yeah, it's always much appreciated. But I'm having a lot of fun doing the coloring for this, and I guess that kind of brings me into, I guess there'll be 2 points to this, 2 other points. The first is I do shorts for the channel, you know, because it's really fast to just kind of edit it and put it out there. But I'm not really a consumer of shorts. I don't really like short content. I feel like it almost drains me mentally. And I'm not talking about like mentally tired. I mean like sucks the intelligence out of me. I know that sounds like really like hypercritical, but like if I try to do like TikTok and scrolling and stuff like that, I don't have a TikTok anymore really. I think I had one like once and I just stopped touching it altogether. I just couldn't do it anymore. It's just, I didn't like the energy. I didn't like how fast it was, and I feel like everyone's just trying to do whatever they can to game into the algorithm and get like a crumb, like a second of attention out of the 6 seconds that people are trained now to hold at a time. You gotta like immediately hook. And this, I am going to be this is 2026 for me. This was my vow. Effectively brain rot. Anti-brain rot. So the brain rot is just like mindless, mind-numbing, just dumb. Like, I'm sorry. Not smart at all. Just a lot of things. And some people's doing like, am I the a-hole post with Minecraft parkour over an AI voice, somebody shouting 6-7, whatever, you know. I don't want to feed into that for my channel. I want something that's I'm gonna look back on, and I'm not chasing a trend. You can't be like, oh well, this is so 2025, you know, or whatever. I want it to be something that, yeah, it might still be part of its time, but it's more like of its time as in that's the time of my life. And this was what was happening in my life and represented, not just like I'm doing this for other people or to say, hey, you know, this is what's cool, right? Hey. And I feel like I can't be the only one who feels like this. I can't be the only one who's so actively against the artificial intelligence and the lack of intelligence and needing to be fed every single thought and only have 2 seconds of attention span. I gotta be not the only one who thinks this. So instead of hooking you immediately with a 13-second video and saying, hey, before you go click off this, watch this now. Taking a trending song and doing a trending dance. You know, I sit here for, this is an hour-long video. And if you're here 30 minutes right now, it's past 30 minutes, and you're still here, you have effectively won over like 70-80% of this entire internet. You already have a longer attention span than all of those people. And that's awesome. And if you're actually listening to this and you're not clicking away, thank you so much. And if this isn't the video for you, this isn't the video for you. You probably haven't gotten this far if this isn't the video for you. You do you. That's fine. You know, I'm not trying to, disrespect anyone. I'm just saying it doesn't feel good for me. And I want to feed into a new kind of change, a new kind of era. In my mind, we are going to start going actively against the things we are so comfortable with right now. One of those things is the very short, instant gratification and sensationalism that is happening on the internet. And we want to go back, because I know already people are like, I miss the old YouTube. I miss the old YouTube that had like these really creative, like fun, elaborate videos, or had like these deep dives. And they're still there, but they're not pushed as much. They're a bit more ignored on the algorithm and stuff like that. And I want to be ahead of that, ahead of when it comes back. I want to be able to say, hey, I was already doing that before it happened. And so that's like my commitment right now, is I am nourishing the mind. I'm not draining the brain cells. I'm feeding them. I'm helping them grow. I'm caring for them. And the other thing that I want to touch upon with this is, as you're watching me color, like we already said, coloring is not a very serious subject, and let's not make it serious. We don't have to make it serious. But of course, the possibility exists that somebody is going to look at this and say, well, this is not very good. I hope you know that, Rebby, that your coloring is not that great. And to that I say, I don't care. Truly. Like, I had to tell myself a long time ago not to care about those things. And this is not me trying hard. I'm just trying to color it with a little bit of depth and dimension, because I enjoy that. It's a little bit of a challenge, but I enjoy it. And I like using the colors, and I said I was challenging myself with these reusable, these old used crayons, trying to give them life. So I'm sure if you look at it and you're like, oh, the finished piece, it's kind of underwhelming, it's patchy, it's, not very good, I don't care. Because I predict this now. I'm calling this now, guys. 2026 is the era of bad art. Bad. Terrible. Ugly. Hideous. Not that skilled, not that good. Now you think that's ridiculous. Why would I want to have bad art? Why would anyone want to show off their bad art on the internet? And the thing is, the world as a whole is trying to push this whole artificial intelligence, artificial art, right? Out of all the things to use with AI, they're deciding to use art. That's the thing. But as creatives know, if you are also a creative and you're here, you might be a creative, because that's why you're here. AI is not art. It takes images of people's art, but that doesn't mean it has the soul of the art. It's just trying to take images, information, and assemble it together into data to say, like, hey, this looks nice, right? This is what people like, because this is what resonates with people. And you might be tricked, you might be fooled into thinking it might be real art, sure, because there's so much that it's working on, and it's got so much actual art to glean from. But now we're getting to the point where people are being sussy. They're almost like on this witch hunt. They look at a really great piece of art and they say, hey, I don't believe you. I don't think you're a real artist. I think you just put this in a prompt. And they're looking for all the things that they could see that would point it to being AI. And doesn't that suck that we've tried to become investigators now? Or that we have to question that every single thing is art or not? Because there's so many different things it could be. Like so many different types of artists, so many different styles. That, I mean, I guess it's possible. It's possible it could be art. It's possible it could be AI. And now we're questioning ourselves. And we're just going to be in doubt all the time. And as you notice with this green, it was very sticky and chunky. So it's like pulling up the... I remember just hearing it like smacking when it was sticking. Anyway, I just thought I would bring that up. But yeah, when we're doing art, you know, we're using our voice, we're using our own lived experiences. We're also taking influences from other people. In a way, AI kind of takes, you know, inspiration from other people, except for it's just straight up stealing. But we still put our voice into it. We still add our own interpretations. That's what makes it different. And to this day, even if you're like, oh yeah, you know, trends in art goes into cycles and it's just gonna, you know, we'll do psychedelic art again. Minimalism, maximalism, you know, this Memphis corporate, all these different styles, you know, the Figueroa, vaporwave, all these things. Those are certain styles that evoke moods of different time and different artists influenced, you know, Fauvism, Impressionism, things like that. But the reason why they exist is because they were also reflective of a time, you know, a certain mind. And some people were like, oh, I'm not the only one who feels this way, you know. Impressionism was a movement. A bunch of different artists came together and made a certain style, and it was evocative of that time in history and the place they were, the Renaissance. You see something and you know it's from the Renaissance because that was part of the time, you know. They had that style, but it's all a combination of where they were, you know, something like, say, religious influences, the culture, you know, languages, and the people that surrounded them, the other artists that inspired them. You can't do that with AI art, you know? Which is why, even if you're like, oh, we're going to have another style kind of like this, and you can name a style and then try to do it again, you know? You're still going to be in this specific then and now, and you're still going to be surrounded by specific different people and cultures and experiences that weren't back then, you know? Everything from the past is still influencing the now and the future in a different way than it wouldn't have been before. You wouldn't have, you know, SpongeBob in, you know, Botticelli's Birth of Venus. But somebody could memify that and make a version of that now. And you could be like, well, it's still memes. That's a style. It's still like American cartoon style. And it's Renaissance. And you can tell it's from this time because only right now would you do something like that and be like, well, that does sound like something you could do. And yeah, you could put that into the AI algorithm and try to make something. But who knows for sure what that's going to look like. Really. And each time you put it in, it's going to have something inconsistent and different anyways. But what I'm trying to say is that when you do bad art, people are less inclined to think, oh, this is too perfect. You're pulling from all these, like, amazing expert sources and everybody who curates this on the internet specifically to make it look like they're, you know, great. Because we always show the best things that we've done, right? We don't show the ugly things. So that's not getting put into the algorithm. The most attractive things, the most skilled things are what strikes a chord. And you want to pull from those. So when you make bad art, one, you're showing progress. You're showing, you're showing I am, you know, at a place now where I'm putting in this effort, human effort, and I'm gonna get better, you know, with time, to its vulnerability, you know? And AI art can never replace, for example, there was that big, it became like viral, this huge post on Reddit with the Fearen meme, I guess it was. Somebody was just trying to genuinely draw a anime character from a difficult angle, which is like under the chin. And yeah, it looked funny. And maybe not right, kind of a little odd. But that's not something, I'm sure they'd be able to do it now because there's been so many examples of it, but when it first came out, AI wasn't going to do that. They would have done something actually like really good, you know, really skilled. Not something like that. But you remember that meme. If you've seen that meme, you know what I'm talking about. And you think about it and you're like, oh wow, that's stuck in your head. And it's hard to forget something like that. But the way people were like, oh wow, this was, first of all, they laughed about it, but I didn't see a lot of people really clowning this person, like in a genuine, like, wow, you suck way. They were just like, oh, this is hilarious. This is going to become my avatar because I love it. Because it's quote unquote bad or awkward. And people were coming together. I mean, the voice actor for the actual anime character was using it as her avatar, like the actual original art. And, you know, that artist themselves said that they really appreciated all the support. And there were people coming together like, I'm going to draw this in my version because you have a point. This is difficult. Or you gave me an idea, you inspired me. And that's what art really is about. It's part of the community. And sharing your bad art makes amazing moments like that. And I want to see more of that. Less of the perfection and, oh my god, you know, looking at the perfect art and saying, I hate myself or I think this isn't real. Because this is too good and I'll never be like this. Like, you can, but you can also, it's okay to be bad. So, that's why I say 2026 is the year of the bad artist. Because if we want to fight back, if we want to keep our humanity, and if we want to become, you know, not just better as like artists ourselves and creatives, you know, and gain skills, but also better people, you gotta accept that you're gonna suck, you know? And other people are gonna suck as well. As long as you take that to heart that, hey, I might suck a little bit, and not kicking yourself down, not trying to garner accomplishments or praise that just feels empty for a second, but to actually grow and have like a healthy mindset and a healthy rapport, like a conversation with people, you know? That is going to be what carries us as a society, as humanity, you know, is encouraging that dialogue, encouraging each other to share the less than perfect things. The internet is so obsessed with perfection. I am sick of it. And that's why I'm saying, I think I'm not the only one who feels this way. And I want to show you this green crayon. Different than that green crayon. It doesn't have any label on it. But that's one of the ones that was in my pile, and I'm using it right now. Just because I like the little bits of the yellowish green, which might not be the most realistic, but I wanted to have little like dimensions and pops of the different shades. But moving on. Anyways, the bad artist is going to be kind of the idea we push in 2026. I think other people are going to feel the same way as I do, where they're going to start just trying, you know, and showing their journey, you know, and part of the process, and showing off that bad art. And we're not gonna be saying, hey, I think this isn't real. I don't think you're real. I think this is all fake. It would be pretty messed up. I mean, yeah, AI could in some way do an AI video about making bad art, but who really wants to see that? You know? I think people are gonna be underground, like low key, just making videos of their terrible art and putting that into the world. And then it's going to make a shift, it's going to make a change, you know? Showing each other the different styles that we are capable of, you know? Because we have the power of the internet now, and instead of wasting it on doing the same damn thing, like even for different themes or styles, you're doing the same damn thing, which is making it so polished and corporate and boring, making something a little messed up, imperfect, ugly, dare I say, messy, full of mistakes. And I think if you're here and you're thinking, yeah, I'm in, or my thoughts exactly, I've been thinking this forever, you should join me on this. Because another thing that I like to do is I like to make zines. My boyfriend got me into this. And I noticed that the zines that resonate with people are quote unquote junkie zines. Kind of more reminiscent of the old school style, where you would Xerox in black and white in the school printer or the library, just like really low quality. But they were like handmade, and you can kind of feel a story in each individual piece. Not the overly curated ones that are like printed at a professional, you know, printing service. Might as well just make a book. Make a book, make a magazine, make a comic, make a catalog. You know? If you're gonna do that, you know, you're gonna make it polished and perfect, just do that. Zines, I feel like at the heart, are sometimes they're very good, very professional. Sometimes I love to make a clean zine, but I still make it with paper and a little, kind of like a guillotine to cut the paper and fold it by hand and staple it. I don't go to a professional and get it printed in bulk, you know? And the reason why is because I want it to still feel like handmade. Something like it actually is like made by my hands. It's not a purpose to make money. I make a little bit, but it's not crazy good. It's more about the fulfillment, you know? And making something that feels like me, like I worked for it. It wasn't just handed to me because I had some money or something, you know? I put in effort. And it's not perfect, of course. But I think that has an appeal. You know, people can grab it in their hands and say this has kind of a story to it. Like I can feel the love. I can feel the work you put into it. You folded it with your bare hands and creased it up and shipped it out and everything. That's awesome. And that's really like why zines I think are pretty cool. So if you guys wanna do that sort of stuff, you know, I'll be making some videos on that. Some of them I do use some like really like crazy, like, you know, powerful software, like, you know, I got the Adobe Creative Cloud. I know, grown, Adobe Creative Cloud's the devil, right? Sometimes do it by hand. I love collaging, I love scrapbooking, you know, junk journaling, all that sort of stuff. I love the feeling of the tactile and the mixed media. Sometimes I like digital, I like the clean work. It's all for a purpose. And I'm able to do all those things with the zines, right? I don't have to feel like, well, I have to make this perfect. You know, I have to do it with the biggest programs possible. Even you right now, thinking I don't have the money, I don't have the power, the resources to do this. Literally, you get a printer page of paper. Most people, you know, they know someone who has like a big white sheet of paper, like printer size 8.5 by 11 is the standard US size. And then you can make a zine just out of that. And then like an exacto knife or a pair of scissors, something to cut it in the middle. And fold it up and just draw straight on it. You don't have to scan something in, or, make, it's like I'm gonna Illustrator vector shapes or whatever with a pen tool. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You don't have to hire a professional to do it for you. Just sit there and do it with your own hands. You don't really have many excuses. Most people have a pencil or a pen and a sheet of paper. Even like a lined ruler paper from school, you could in theory use. It might actually look kind of cool with the lines. Kind of like a little background texture. People do that kind of stuff all the time. Who says you can't? So that's really the big gist of the 2026 for me, is I'm going to be working on still doing the work with the animals. So if you're here for that, it's going to happen. It's still going to be here. I still do the art because the art is who I am. I'll do other videos here and there. Things about me. Like I've done some videos about like my hair. Like, hey, here's the different colors of my hair. Or these are the piercings that I've had. Like I'm on this little journey where I'm going to be like doing a bunch of piercings in my ears. And making like a stack of like really cool earrings. So I might chronicle that as well, because I think it's also cool to see the healing process and cute little dangly jewelry and stuff. But I know that's not what everybody will be here for, That's just a little side. It's still a part of me. But it's going to be a video here and there. So that's kind of like some ideas, but mostly it's just going to be about trying to make something that fights back against this whole tiresome rhetoric of immediate satisfaction and perfection and discontent, fear, anger, distrust, skepticism for things such as technology. And I hope that not only is this, just like with the dog pictures, a chronicle of my life and the dogs, but that this art, the messages, the intention, the themes that I'll be doing this year will also be a chronicling of not only my life, but the state of the world as it is right now in 2026. And hopefully, we can look back on this and go, hey, that was a crazy time, but it got better, Because let's be real, there's not a lot of hope for a lot of us right now. Some of you might be doing fine. Awesome. Not all of us are doing so great. Myself included. And this is kind of like my little bit of joy. Because, we're seeing a lot of sadness. We're seeing a lot of anger, fear, distrust of each other. And I kind of want to put back into perspective, like, there are good things. And there are things that have nothing to do with these things. And it's not ignoring those things. I'm not afraid to talk about that stuff. And it's going to, I'm sure, come up at some point in my life, because this is me and this is my experiences. But I also want to have moments where we're not, doom spiraling on the internet or rage baiting or anything like that. And we are truly just being, having genuine connections just about, our lives, and sharing it through things such as the form of art or the creation of content and videos and narratives and stories. Stories is a big thing. But through these videos. So come with me on that journey. Because I'd like you to be there. By the way, I'm doing all this recording on my phone, which I just plugged in because it went to 9% battery power. And I have like 6-7 minutes left in this video. And I feel weird about leaving silence in there. Just for the first video. in the future. Maybe it won't be for a whole hour. I did do a video recently where I did minimal talking, but there will be some videos where there's going to be a big stretch in time where I say nothing at all. I do nothing at all except for just do my work, you know. And that is because, once again, we're not spoon feeding or having to explain or fill in the silence with just trying to get somebody's attention all the time. Sometimes we're just relaxing, we're just being, just vibing. And I'm only here to explain these things because I have a lot to talk about. So sorry for the accidental cut. This was like the next day, I think, because I ran out of space on my phone. It's like I talked about this earlier. And then I decided, I wanted to put some colors that weren't necessarily like the greens and browns for like these little bugs and flowers. Yeah, as you can see, I was pointing to them there. So I just wanted to do a few pops of color in there. I will say I've been talking over some of these points that I've been kind of pointing out here. I will say there are some really cool colors in here. One of them is this kind of like bright yellow green. You'll see it on one of the caterpillars. The color is called inchworm. So that's why I had to color one of the caterpillars it, because inchworm is just a type of caterpillar, right? But I colored this with the blue shimmer, the blue metallic, because I only had 2 metallic crayons. And I was trying to show that there is a little bit of shimmer, but I don't think it showed up very well on camera. Yeah. It's not like crazy metallic, but there is some for sure. Anyways, I did blue and red mostly for those little bits of bugs, just so they could pop a little bit more. Yeah, and then there's just like a little kind of ladybug. I don't know if there's a black in my set, so I just grabbed a very dark purple and started filling them in. Besides, I find sometimes that black can be a little too harsh, and that you just can have like a very dark color, such as a purple or a dark blue, as a contrast, and that can serve its purpose just as well. So I put those areas where like the head and the eyes of these bugs are, just a little pop a little bit more on the final work. But yeah, this is a coloring page that I'm almost done with. Got a few more minutes left on this, and it was not, as you may call, good, as we circle back to that. But because, as we were talking about in the first part of the video, we can't be taking the joy out of things, and we can't be trying to chase perfection. So what I do here is just me trying to let go of that. Trying to let go of all the expectations of, well, nobody's going to look at this if it's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough for them. It's not like impressive enough. And being impressive enough for the internet, that is a very high bar. People want perfect. So I have to stop caring. I have to stop caring, or else I care too much and nothing is ever created. And I just kind of rot. Yeah. I was just pulling out some of the colors, some of the examples of things I might be using, and then there was a couple that I decided, you know what, I won't use that. Or the colors just seem kind of repetitive. I started coloring this like yellow color onto this moth because I wanted to add more than just one solid color. I wanted to do like a little bit more to it. So I did that, and then like a yellow orange and another orange to that. And then like an earthy kind of brown. It was like brown, yellow, orange cream, essentially, for this moth. And some of the areas, like the wings, I just left white because it kind of pops a little bit. I could have colored it, but I didn't really feel like doing it in that point in time. And actual full recording of this, as you can see, I'm going with the dark brown and just doing some final touches for the shading because I'm almost finished. But this actual whole recording, even though it took a couple of days, it was more like over 2 hours of just coloring. I didn't draw this thing. I didn't draw and ink this thing. I was just coloring. So, extreme color challenge, indeed. And I'm just finishing up, like I said, doing kind of like these shadows, adding a few more details, just because I thought, why not? Let it pop a little bit. Next time I do something like this, and I have several pages more, if you want to see more of this, hit me up, let me know. Because I have so many other pages. Like, you saw some of those. Like, if you say, hey, I want to see the dragon done, or can you do, there's like more than one Pegasus in there, or like unicorn, you're like, hey, can you do the unicorn, can you do the Pegasus, you know, can you do that giant or troll or whatever it is under the bridge, and color that in. Let me know what you're interested in, and yeah, I might make that into a video in the future. But anyways, here's the final drawing, as it were. I left some of these flowers white as well. I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. I hope you guys liked it, but that's the video. Bye.